School shooters and mass murderers in general come from all walks of life. They come from all social and economic backgrounds. One thing they do share in common is that they're usually white, at least in this country. But anyway, and there's some Asians and one or two blacks, and a Hispanic or two, but they're mostly white. Anyway, this video will be talking about comparing and contrasting the two most recent and infamous school shooters, Dimitrios Pagourtzis and Nikolas Cruz. For starters, they both killed the same number of people that they wounded. Dimitrios Pagourtzis killed 10 and wounded 10. Nikolas Cruz killed 17 and wounded 17. They also had they both had girlfriend trouble. They had trouble with the opposite sex. But they didn't I don't think they came from exactly the same place as Alec Manassian or Elliot Rodger. They were something totally different. They were basically themselves as the cause. And as such, they decided that they would go to school and kill a bunch of people. Where they contrast is Dimitrios Pagourtzis had a specific target in mind, and they were both prominent on Facebook, and we haven't been able to get much out of Nikolas Cruz as to why he survived the shooting. That's another thing that's in common. They both survived the shooting. Dimitrios Pagourtzis planned to commit suicide, but decided he didn't have the balls to do it, and by default decided to burden the Texas taxpayers with keeping him alive for the rest of his life, giving him 3 hots in a cot for the next few decades. Anyway, Dimitrios Pagourtzis was 17 and Nikolas Cruz was 19. Nikolas Cruz is eligible for the death penalty, and Dimitrios Pagourtzis is not. What we see here is Nikolas Cruz had several warning signs. Dimitrios Pagourtzis didn't have very many. Both were on certain high school teams, like Nikolas Cruz was on the ROTC's rifle team, and Dimitrios Pagourtzis was on the football team. Both had trouble socially and didn't really fit in well. They both experienced some bullying and shit like that. But Dimitrios Pagourtzis, he never really had too many discipline problems until his massacre, of course. Nikolas Cruz was in trouble his whole life. The police were at his house all the time, and yeah, his life was just a huge mess. But there's no way to predict a school shooting. I mean, kids threaten this stuff all the time, sometimes as a prank, and they had never had any intention of doing anything. Some kids, they daydream about it, but they don't really consider it. See, you can have all the criteria for a perfect storm, and a storm never comes. But sometimes a storm does come. And in a school shooting, that's pretty much a Category 5 hurricane or tornado. And it's also noted that there are a few lesser tornadoes and hurricanes. Some people, as I've said before in my other videos, get their revenge on society in ways that they do not go to jail, such as being an asshole boss, such as being, a police officer who's really who really likes to ticket people all the time, being an MMA fighter or a boxer who beats the hell out of people, who just explodes in a rage. Some of these guys join the military so that they can kill a bunch of people and not get in any legal trouble for it. And there are just so many intervals and so many potential things that they could be. It could be anybody. And anyway, it's just really anybody's guess, you know, what makes a school shooter. Because, I mean, most people think it's bullying. Well, that's not always true. Some of these school shooters were not bullied at all. In fact, some of them were even the bully themselves. And oftentimes they can fit all three criteria: bully victim, bystander, and bully. It all depends on the situation and what day they're having. And, you know, these things are a lot more complex than a lot of people care to realize. And the fact that these two actually survive their respective rampages, that's pretty rare. They typically don't. The last person these people typically kill is themselves. And, you know, social isolation generally plays a pretty big role. I mean, we don't know too much about Dimitrios Pagourtzis' psychology, but it's like Nikolas Cruz was diagnosed with a lot of things: autism, depression, ADHD. Oh my God, he was diagnosed with a lot of shit. Nikolas Cruz was also a self-cutter, and he would cut himself. And anyway, what did Nikolas Cruz... We know that Dimitrios Pagourtzis lost his nerve when he planned to kill himself and did not. We don't know why Nikolas Cruz did not kill himself. Did he decide to and then chicken out? Did he have something else planned? Or did he plan to just live out the rest of his life in prison? Or did he plan to get away? Nobody knows. Because Nikolas Cruz, he's not very talkative. And Nikolas Cruz also spawned a lot more political unrest, because there's been the March for Our Lives, there's been his brother Zachary Cruz's campaign against bullying. You know, there's a lot of shit going on. But, and anyway, both Nikolas Cruz and Dimitrios Pagourtzis use long guns. The difference is Nikolas chose a assault rifle, an AR-15, whereas Dimitrios Pagourtzis chose a shotgun. Now, sometimes these people can get high kill tallies with armed only with handguns, such as Virginia Tech, but that's pretty rare. Usually, if you get a handgun, if they used only a handgun, it's just, you know, a few people dead, like maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 4, and a bunch of wounded. You generally don't get into the double digits with a handgun. And as we've seen before, you can get well into the double digits with a rifle. Because, I mean, Stephen Paddock proved that, Nikolas Cruz proved that, Omar Mantine proved that, Adam Lanza proved that. There's just a lot of things going on. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace out. Be good, y'all.